Hi students, welcome to second year commerce class. In our previous class we have discussed about procedure and formalities of export trade. It was very lengthy. We have covered around 16 points. So the procedure starts from inquiries and receiving quotations, then indent, obtaining license, completing the exchange formalities, clear, bill of lading, shipping order, getting the goods insured. Then it ended with securing payment. That was the last step. 16th step was securing payment from the importer. So export is a lengthy process. Clear? So in this class we are going to discuss procedure and formalities of import trade. It is importing formalities are very much less when compared to export trade. What is import trade? In almost every class I am giving you the definition of export and import. Import trade means buying of goods from other countries. Buying or purchasing of goods from other countries. Say example, India purchasing 200 computers from Japan. So here Japan is the exporter, India is the importer. That means a citizen from India, a trader from India will be importing goods, a trader from Japan will be exporting goods. So this is the exporting country, then this is importing country. And once you know the practical business activities, you can easily understand this procedure. Normally, even in domestic trade also, if you observe, there are much activities to be performed by the seller than the buyer. Okay. Seller has to arrange goods, he has to store, he has to maintain the quality of the goods, he has to attract customers, and he has to supply the goods which are desired by the customers. So, seller has to put more efforts than the buyer. Generally, what the buyer will do, just visit the market and whatever the commodity he requires, he select a shop and will make the payment, or he agrees to make the payment at a later date and will buy the goods. So in general, buyer has got lesser burden than the seller. Seller has to do so many activities. Similarly, in case of international trade also, exporter has got many activities to be done. So that is the reason in the previous class we have seen 16 steps were there in export trade formalities. In import trade, we have got only 8 points. Okay. So, because the goods are to be exported from the exporting country to the importer, exporter has to make lot of arrangements. Like he has to go for shipping company, book a ship, obtain the shipping order, he has to pack the goods, he has to forward goods from the production point to the port. At port, he has to complete various formalities, he has to obtain license, he has to obtain consular invoice, certificate of origin, okay, get bill of lading from the shipping company, get mate's receipt from the vice captain of the assistant of the captain of the ship. Like that he has to obtain so many documents, and those documents are to be sent to importer. So then importer will be ready to receive the goods. But for importer, not all these activities to be performed, only few things he has to do so he can get the goods delivered. So, as just now I told you, import trade. What is import trade? Buying of goods from other countries. Example I have given, India purchasing 200 computers from Japan. Or recently we have seen India purchased fighter planes from France. Okay, like that so many goods we can buy, electronics, electrical items, food items, medicines. Okay. So, What are the steps involved in import trade? Let us discuss. First one is procurement of license. What is license? License is the permission to do something. License is the permission to do something. For example, we see driving license. What do you mean by driving license? It is a permission given to drive a bike or car. The other day I told you that in case of domestic trade you don't require any license, you can carry out because both the buyer and seller belong to the same country, so you need not complete much formalities. Government is not going to impose any restrictions. It is not going to restrict you. So you are free to buy and sell goods, so you don't require any license. Like I've given a practical example. For bicycle riding you don't require any license. For bike and car you require license. So bicycle is domestic trade, whereas car or bike is foreign trade. You require a license. So license is required for both the exporter as well as the importer. Without having valid license from the government of India, no trader of any country can buy goods from other countries. Because why do we restrict with licenses? Every country has to protect the interest of the domestic population and interest of the domestic traders. If without license you allow everyone to buy foreign goods, then it will create a great threat to the Indian economy. Not only Indian economy, for any country which imports goods abundantly without any restriction, there will be a problem. Imagine if all the people of India buy local, cheaper Chinese goods in all areas. So Indian companies, Indian traders cannot survive. If Indian company offers a product at 40 rupees, China company will offer at 14 rupees. So naturally we will buy Chinese goods. Whether they are useful or harmful, that is a second issue. But basically, what is the psychology of the consumer? We would like to buy goods at cheaper rate. Okay. So in such a case, if large quantities of goods from foreign countries enter Indian market, so Indian traders cannot compete with them, cannot survive in the market. So we need to restrict. That is the reason government should know what are the various commodities entering into the Indian market, whether we can allow or not. So if you keep licensing system, so naturally we will come to know. Suppose if I apply for license, I have to clearly mention what kind of goods I am going to import. If they are permissible, if they do not harm the Indian economy, government of India will give me license. Otherwise it won't. Okay. Because importing of goods will have a negative impact on economy. Okay, it may help you to satisfy the needs of the population. Importing is compulsory. Okay, for the goods which are not available in the Indian market, if you import, it's okay. But to reduce the price or say to get economic benefit, if you allow various foreign goods, so naturally foreign countries, foreign traders will capture the Indian market, leaving no space for the Indian producers and Indian traders. That ultimately damages our national income. Clear? So there is a great responsibility on government of India to protect the interest of Indian manufacturers and Indian traders. So that is the reason we restrict the importers with licensing system. So licensing system means if you give permission, then only you can buy the goods. So while giving the license, we inquire about the various issues, like what kind of goods he is purchasing, what is the reason for importing from foreign country, whether such goods are not available in India. So after having the satisfactory replies from the importer, then we give the license. So for importing of goods, license is compulsory. Next, obtaining exchange. Obtaining exchange. The other day I told you that in case of foreign trade, currency is to be converted from one countries to other countries. Suppose you are purchasing, in this example, you are purchasing computers from America, so you have to pay in dollars. You have got Indian rupees. So if you pay Indian rupees to an American, he may not accept. He may demand payment in dollars. But you cannot possess dollars or any foreign currency in illegal manner. Who has got the authority in India to possess foreign currency is the Reserve Bank of India and its authorized counters and authorized agencies. So what you have to do? So before giving the order for importing of goods, you have to write a letter to Reserve Bank of India and its official agencies that you got a valid license to import goods. So you are going to import certain quantity of goods from a particular country and you require that currency. Then Reserve Bank of India will inquire really whether it is needed to buy goods from foreign country or not, what is the reason for importing. So they inquire the facts, then they will give, yes, we are ready to give the foreign currency as you have to make the payment. So that's how they give their consent. Without taking the permission or consent from the Reserve Bank of India, if you order the goods, then RBI will not give you the foreign currency. In advance, you have to intimate them, stating the proper reasons for importing of goods, even by the public sector companies also. So you need to satisfy the queries of authorities, then they are satisfied, they will give you permission. Yes, will, as per your requirement, will fulfill the foreign exchange needs. Then as and when you have to make the payment, RBI will give you the foreign currency if you give the Indian currency. So that's how you have to make arrangements for foreign currency. Then indent or order. Now you are ready with money, whether US dollars or Britain pounds or any other country's currency, you are ready with money now. The third stage is give the order. Indent or order is how many computers you require, how many sheds you require, how many markers you require, how many fans you require. So to the exporter, because already you have done the inquiry. Okay, you have done already the inquiry, where the goods are available, what is the rate, what are the conditions for supplying of goods with various countries, with various exporters. Already you have done the job of inquiry. Now you place the order with the exporter from whom you want to buy the goods. So whether it is America, Japan, Germany, Russia, France, Pakistan, China, whatever the country may be, whoever the exporter may be, is already you have got the data, you have got the information, where the goods are available, at what rate they are available, what are the favorable conditions. So according to your requirement, according to your profits, you give the order. So your third step is giving the order. Then letter of credit. The other day we have discussed it. Because the exporter cannot believe us in the personal level, on behalf of us, our bank should give a guarantee letter to the exporter stating that we are financially sound enough, on behalf of us, bank is ready to honor the bill. That means bank is giving the assurance of payment. So we will issue, our bank will issue. Say for example, I am importer, I am purchasing computers from Japan. So or America. So on behalf of me, my bank will write a letter to that exporter. Yes, Mr. Madhusudan is our customer, is our account holder. So whatever the bill you draw on Mr. Madhusudan, we are ready to honor. So the official letter is issued by my bank. If individually I write the letter, the exporter may not consider it because he don't know my financial status. But if it is given by the bank, exporter will accept it because bank is the official organization controlled by Reserve Bank of India and Government of India. So exporter has got confidence on bank but not on me. So that is the reason I have to give a letter of credit on behalf of me to my exporter through my bank. So letter of credit is nothing but importer's bank will give an assurance to make the payment after the delivery of the goods. Very simple, ma. You are due to college, some fees is due by you. College management is not giving you hall ticket. Okay, individually you are saying that, sir, next week I will pay. Please give me hall ticket. So individually as already you might have taken various dues or whatever the reason may be, college management is not believing you, they do not have confidence on you. Say you are my neighbor or you are known to me, then what I will do is, I will write a letter. Yes, Miss so and so is known to me, whatever the fees due is there, she will make the payment after 1 week. If not, I will make the payment. So please issue hall ticket. Because I am an employee here, I am a lecturer here, and college has got confidence on me, so they will give you a hall ticket. So later, you will make the payment. If you don't pay, I have to pay. Clear? Because I have got the confidence that as you are known to me, I have got the confidence that I can collect. I am giving a letter on behalf of you. So similarly, on behalf of importer's bank will give the letter. To whom it will give? To the exporter. What does that letter contains? It contains that importer has got creditworthiness, and on behalf of importer, bank is ready to make the payment for the goods he has imported. Next, procuring shipping documents. Now what happens, you see, once we send letter of credit, once we give the assurance to the exporter, now exporter has to make the arrangement for shipping of goods. So the other day we have discussed, immediately after receiving of letter of credit, what the exporter will do? He will go for shipping order. He will enter into an agreement with the shipping company that he requires some space or the entire ship to export goods from his country to the importer's country. So after booking the ship, he will get the documents over there. Those documents he will send to importer. Now that we have to receive. The documents will be sent by the exporter after booking the ship. That is called shipping order. Now we have to take those documents. Shipping documents we have to receive from the exporter. So once we receive the shipping documents, we will come to know to which port on which day the goods are going to arrive. Okay. Like we get the railway ticket, we book, and someone sends on WhatsApp. See, for example, someone booked tickets on behalf of us, so they will send you a copy of the ticket on your WhatsApp. So you will come to know that when your train or flight arrives, at what time. So similarly, after receiving of these documents, importer will come to know to which port on which day the goods are going to come. Whether they are reaching Kakinada, they are reaching Machilipatnam, they are reaching Vizag. Okay, like that, different seaports are there, whether Mumbai or Chennai, maybe. Okay, so to which port and which day the ship is going to arrive, we will come to know. Clear? Then we have to go to that port. Okay, according to the shipping order, shipping documents, we should go to the port, any seaport where the goods are coming. So at the port, there will be an office called Port Trust. Okay, Port Trust office will be there. So there you have to fill certain forms. You have to describe about the goods, what goods you are receiving, from whom, from which country you are receiving, what is the quantity of that goods. You have to write the form like bill of sight, okay, bill of entry. Some forms are there. You have to fulfill those formalities at the Port Trust office. That is called clearing of goods. Means you give the description of the goods you are going to receive, from which country you are receiving, name of the exporter, and all that formalities are there. You give the details to the Port Trust authorities. And after that, once you after giving the documents, you have to pay the customs dues. They are called as dock dues. DOCK. Dock dues will be there. So you have to clear these dock dues. Means customs duties you have to pay. After that, the port authorities will give you a letter. Yes, you can take the delivery of goods. As all the customs formalities are done, you can take the delivery of the goods, so they will give you a receipt. So after showing that receipt, you can take the delivery of goods. Okay. So if you have got the capacity to store, okay, then you require warehouses. So not only when you want to take delivery of goods, you will be maintaining certain warehouses. So take delivery of goods and take goods to your warehouses, your godowns. From there, accordingly you will be selling in your country. So now ultimately the goods have reached to your warehouses. Suppose individually you do not have the capacity to maintain warehouses, so we have got the warehouses maintained by customs authorities itself. Already in types of warehouses we have discussed it. So there we can store by paying some money to the customs authorities. Clear? If you can maintain godowns, warehouses on your own, you maintain, take the delivery of goods and carry them to your warehouses. From those godowns, the goods will be disbursed to your distributors and your retailers or according to your market link. Clear? So these are the steps involved in import trade. This may be called as import trade formalities or procedure for and formalities of import trade. Very important for 5 marks. If you are lucky, may be given for 10 marks also.